Just to give you an introduction to who I am, so my role at Viator is leading the supply acquisition team for the EMEA region. So that supply obviously goes through TripAdvisor and all our affiliate marketing channels as well. So just going to talk to you a little bit about how we see the tours and activities market evolving. But I guess the one thing to say is that the mission statement of TripAdvisor as an organization is to make travel easier for travelers through technology. So I think that's something that everyone is aspiring to, although we're trying to do it in different ways, I guess. So just to talk to you about the things that we're going to go through today. So I'll talk to you Viator and TripAdvisor by numbers. I'm sure all of you are probably fairly familiar with the brands, but I'll give you an update on that. We'll talk about how we go about researching and booking tours and activities and how our customers have evolved. How we see the tours and activities market in destination as well. The challenges, how you guys can work with us more closely in the future. And then these type of thing happen to me in every single presentation that I've ever done. I get asked about the review algorithm on TripAdvisor. Just in advance, I don't know what's in it and I don't know how it works, but I am going to share with you guys a video so you can obviously get a bit of better idea of what things are involved. So just in terms of numbers, Viator is the world's largest marketplace for tours and activities, over 53,000 tours and activities available on Viator.com. That's a phenomenal number. You can view and book those in 11 different languages. So Viator is now just a sales channel as part of the TripAdvisor Media Group. So I'll talk a little bit more about some of our affiliate partners as well. But obviously you're all very familiar with TripAdvisor as a platform. But it's the world's largest travel site. 390 million unique visitors a month, which is just a colossal number. And I think the thing that keeps that I always think about is our consumers are going to tell us how they want to book travel in the future, and we can try and define it for them, but it's just not going to work. My own personal background before I got into travel was in newspapers, and find me an industry that's changed more than that over a short space of time. I worked in newspapers pre-Google, and where we used to my day-to-day task was making money from classified advertising that we used to have in the back of newspapers. Anyone remember those? Yeah, so that was a multi-million-dollar industry, believe it or not, and now it's probably worth next to nothing. And that's how quickly things can change if you're not up on it. And if you try and define an industry for consumers, you're not going to be around for very long. So best listen to them. So this is how we and Focusrite see the tours and activities market at the moment. I mean, you can see there's a really massive opportunity, sort of estimating this is worth about $72 million. This has probably gone up in value since we last looked at it, but we're also saying that we estimate the online penetration of this market to be between 10 and 15%. So we're really only at the beginning of this journey, and people like Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia starting to get more involved in this marketplace could only be a good thing in my opinion. As it stands, Booking and Expedia is two of TripAdvisor's biggest booking partners anyway, and I think the more the easier we can make it for customers to book tours and activities online and in destination, the better it will be for everyone. So just to talk about some of the challenges, we talked a little bit about mobile earlier on today. Obviously that's a huge challenge for every company, but for small companies with customers booking in destination, it's a huge challenge. And one of these trends that we're seeing is the number of smartphones in the world is exponentially grown. That's only going to increase. And if you look at how consumers consume online media in some of the more faster growing economies in China and India, for example, it's almost exclusively on mobile. Like, we're really behind in EMEA. So I think that what we'll see is that start to continue even further in the future. But what we're starting to see as well is that tours and activities are primarily booked in destination. So if that's the case, we really need to work quite hard to make everything readily available for customers so that they can find it very easily and that they have a possibility to make that booking experience. Otherwise, they're either not going to book, which is terrible, or they're going to go somewhere other than TripAdvisor or Viator, which is just bad for me. So how do we get around that? Well, So how we've decided to approach that is that we've really changed the way that our website books, for a start. We already talked about this colossal audience that we have with the TripAdvisor platform, but it wasn't very good at driving bookings. It was primarily built to just show people information, and we're showing it in a way that, while they can look at that and find out lots of information about it, but the natural cycle of that is, if you're looking to review something for your holiday, particularly if you're in destination, is to make it bookable. Otherwise, you can't complete your experience. So you see on the TripAdvisor site nowadays, you'll see it littered with lots of opportunities to book now, and that's just completing the experience as far as we're concerned. So what you can see here is an example of a tour operator listing that exists on TripAdvisor as well. Again, giving you the opportunity to be able to check availability there and then, and try and book something on the website. And that goes for attractions as well. So actually we can show multiple options for booking and having your entry ticket for an attraction. Eiffel Tower is a really good example of something where you either have to go and stand in a several-hour line outside the Champ de Mars, or you book in advance for your ticket. You can't just decide to go and do it on the day without considerable inconvenience, and not many people want to go and stand in a line for that amount of time. And what it gives as well is upsell opportunities. So obviously that was mentioned already today, that there's an opportunity to then upsell your experiences as well. So we've got this audience here. We're selling them the Eiffel Tower, which is the number 2 things to do. Anyone's interested, the Orsay Museum is currently ranked the number 1 thing to do. And we're giving opportunities to then, package that and get people to book more than one thing. So again, really good way of upselling and encouraging people to spend more money in destinations, which is, ultimately then good for the people that live there because their economies are booming. It gives you the opportunity to do pre-departure and in-market emails, so to actually try and target people based on what you think they're most likely to want to book in any period of time. We have an extensive amount of data on, what the booking window is for different types of products. We know that a day trip is booked more likely a little bit more in advance than a skip the line ticket for an attraction, for example. So it gives us a really good opportunity to know what to try and promote to people at any given time. Don't profess that we are the best at CRM, but actually this is our take on it, and I think there's lots of work that every company can do in this area to try and be a bit smarter about how they use CRM, but this is the way that we've chosen to go about it. And this is just a snapshot of how this might look on mobile for us as well, using Berlin in honor of my partner on stage this morning. So we've got here the things to do tab on the TripAdvisor mobile experience. Obviously you can see there that then it's bookable. You can immediately go to checking availability and book it. So obviously that then gives you quite a bit of a problem if you're talking about all of this last-minute availability, which is a problem for a big company, but even more of a problem for a smaller organization, because, well, how do you cope with all these hundreds of customers that are going to book the day before travel date? That sounds like a real pain in the arse. So how we've chosen to try and get around that and maximize last-minute availability is significant API development connectivity. So we've connected directly to some of our top suppliers. We've also connected to over 40 reservation systems. These are some of the example of systems that we're currently connected to. And what that does is give last-minute inventory to and make it available to our customers. It's ultimately very good for our partners as well. It's quite time-consuming to do in a lot of cases. Reservation systems are usually quite helpful at making that easier. But the benefits are clear. So, I mean, some of the data that we're seeing initially is that we saw, using our partners that we had reservation systems for, we saw that bookings within 24 hours of travel date quadrupled. So this is a real significant increase. And I think if we're accepting that mobile is going to be the way forward and in-destination is going to be the way that the bookings happen in the future, we really need to make the most of that opportunity. Otherwise, we're just leaving money on the table. I mentioned before about how we then take these products and distribute them globally. So we've obviously got this enormous audience with TripAdvisor, a fantastic converting channel in Viator.com as well. And this is a snapshot of some of the partners that we work with globally as well. So as some of these will be very well-known names for you, from content sites like Lonely Planet, travel agents like STA Travel, and obviously some really big airline partners, British Airways, American Airlines. British Airways, incidentally, was Viator's first partner 20 years ago. So obviously must be doing something right, otherwise they wouldn't carry on. So that number of partners at the moment is at about 3,000. We're also working with about 170,000 travel agents as well to distribute that content. So again, it's a really massive opportunity. So how we could then work with a tour operator to help them grow their business, obviously giving a massive access to a huge audience there through Viator, through TripAdvisor, more channels access as well through our travel agents and through our affiliate partners, and giving you access to new customers in a language that they want to see it. I talked before about consumers defining how they want to consume media and how they want to consume travel media and make bookings as well. That goes for localizing content as well. Like why make it difficult for a Spanish person to try and book something by only showing them something in English? Doesn't make sense. So give it to them in their local language and actually translate it in a way that they're most likely to book. We spend a lot of time trying to localize that content to make it the most relevant possible thing for that audience. So this is the URL. If anyone wants to sign up today, feel free. I haven't told the internet is very good, which I'm going to test with my video in a minute. And this is just a snapshot of what the sign-up page looks like. It's kind of akin to iTunes. Click to accept terms and conditions, and then you can get started right away on uploading your products. So what else can you guys do? So obviously you can sign up and work with Viator. That will give you access to sell products through our platforms. But there's lots that you can do with TripAdvisor as well.
At TripAdvisor, we know that in order for a review to be truly useful, it has to be, well, true. Which is why we work so hard behind the scenes to ensure reviews are genuine. See, before being posted, every review goes through a series of electronic checks and in-depth analysis. This is to make sure reviews are unbiased, family-friendly, and based on a recent experience, as well as a bunch of other characteristics that really useful reviews have in common. These checks look at hundreds of pieces of online information that we can gather about every review, and they determine which of 3 paths it's going to follow. Most reviews make it through the system without a problem and get posted. Some are clearly in violation of our policies and are rejected. And then there are reviews somewhere in the middle, where something suspicious is discovered and warrants a closer look. Suspicious reviews usually fall into one of 3 categories. They either look like something called review boosting, where businesses try to unfairly boost their reviews, what we call review vandalism, where someone tries to slander a business with negative reviews, or review optimization, where optimization companies are paid to falsify reviews on a business's behalf. The good news is, we have ways to catch and stop all 3. See, our technology is so smart it can actually map all sorts of electronic data that help show where every review comes from, like IP addresses, device specifications, and loads more. And we've taken sophisticated techniques that banks use to detect fraud and adapted them to look for patterns among all of our data. Over the years, we've learned what a map of normal and trustworthy review activity looks like. So when something dishonest, like boosting, vandalism, or optimization is attempted, we can recognize it. But once we recognize it, then what? Well, all this technology, it's just part of it. We've also got a team of hundreds of specialists working 24/7. These are real people doing real work, many trained in network forensics and fraud detection, who personally investigate situations as they arise and can make determinations on the integrity of reviews. And if at any point something slips through the cracks, anyone can flag a review and request an investigation. Like in this example, where a business is offering customers incentives to write positive reviews. A customer flags a review and our team springs into action to investigate. Using our technology, they establish that the review is biased and remove it. But they also identify incoming reviews that follow a similar pattern and prevent those from being published too. And they warn the business owner there are penalties should this continue. It works. The suspicious reviews stop and are quickly replaced by unbiased reviews from genuine customers. Why do we do all this? Because when reviews are honest and useful, businesses can compete on a level playing field, and travelers get the insights they need to enjoy the perfect trip every trip.
So hopefully that answered any questions anyone has in the future about reviews, but I'm sure I'll find out if it did or not in a minute. If any DMOs are in the room, for example, and they want to distribute that to any of their members, it's available on YouTube, so feel free to distribute that to whoever you want. I think it's a really interesting, I can't move this on now, Aaron, hang on. Okay, it's a really interesting opportunity because I think, the accusation that often gets leveled at the company is that, obviously we're so big, how can we possibly look at all of those reviews? And I guess the answer that I would come back with, how can we possibly not? Like, it's what our business is built on, and actually us having authentic reviews that can be trusted by travelers is the only way that the business is relevant to our customers in the future. So coming back to my point of what else you guys can do, obviously reviews is a big part of that. So every business that's listed on TripAdvisor has access to its own management center. So I think the best thing you can do is really take control of that management center listing, and in the same way that you would manage your profile on Facebook, manage your profile on Twitter, you really need to actively manage that on TripAdvisor as well. And there's a lot that can be done for free with just a little bit of time. So here is just a couple of examples of the things that you can do. And obviously I'm going to start with review collection, since obviously that's a really big part of it. So there's a fast and free tool that we have on the Management Center called Review Express. It's an easy way to collect reviews through your account using the TripAdvisor brand to solicit reviews as well. It's a really good way of getting extra reviews, and you can be sent to up to 1,000 customers at a time. So it's a really quick and efficient way of soliciting reviews. And why does that matter? So Focusrite data shows that more than half of travelers won't commit to a booking until they've read reviews. So if your listing hasn't got any reviews on it, then it's not going to get any bookings, and ultimately that's what you care about. So really you need to be able to do that. And in addition to that, obviously Review Express sees a user uplift of 34% in the number of TripAdvisor reviews versus a normal listing. So actually this can be a really powerful tool to generate extra reviews, and ultimately if you're really happy with the quality of your business, you should be shouting about this and try and get as many reviews as possible. And there's other tools that we can use as well. So there's lots of free content that's available from within the Management Center as well, including your ratings. You can post reviews on your site, rewards, accolades. There's lots of widgets that you can download for free on your website as well. So feel free to really use this and make the most of it. And this is just a snapshot of our team. This is our global sales team. We're all in orange. This took place when the Super Bowl was in San Francisco, so everyone had to wear an orange American football jersey. I think I'm in there somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. Somewhere in the middle, I think. But thank you very much. Anyone has any questions? I think we...
I think we're going to be out of time.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Pleasure.